you see me? Can you see me? Oh, oh good, okay. Welcome. Hi, my name is Angela Peterson. Thank you, board members and Superintendent James, for the opportunity to share my comments. I'm here tonight to request two specific policy adoptions for the district based on recent personal experiences. Number one, that no North Clackamas staff member ever take to media of any kind to accuse students of a suspected crime or suspected racially motivated behavior prior to a complete investigation of the event. Second, that no North Clackamas staff member ever invite students to view surveillance video in a suspected crime. The personal experience I'm referring to happened when, prior to any investigation, a subjective interpretation of the senior prank that happened on May 23rd at Clackamas High School prompted an almost 7-minute Instagram video to the official Cavs Instagram page the morning of May 24th, where it was alleged that the senior prank was racially motivated and was a hate crime. The Oregonian was contacted. Every local and several national news outlets picked up the story with the headline that a hate crime had happened at Clackamas High School. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Department was eventually contacted, and after viewing all of their evidence, it was determined that no hate crime had ever occurred. In the midst of this discovery, those in leadership invited particular students to view surveillance video of the senior prank to assist in identifying students involved. This act alone violated privacy laws and resulted in the falsely accused students' names being spread throughout the community while adding false speculation and horribly damaging lies of what actually happened. The students who were singled out were guilty of one act, and that was for the act of placing a Trump sticker on the window of the school. This decision was immature and made a mess for the custodial staff, for which they apologized and did 3 hours of community service, but never did it occur to them that anyone would view this as racist or hateful. These students ended up receiving hundreds of terrifying graphic death threats. Their names, addresses, and future colleges were shared across every social media platform. Many letters were sent to their prospective colleges to keep them from being admitted. Their graduation celebration was completely overshadowed by a disruptive protest. We contacted the Portland Police to request extra patrols at the ceremony because of the death threats. Racism and hate crimes are abhorrent, and had there been a hate crime, all of these students and their families would be equally outraged. We have always and will stand in solidarity with others against racism. We count on our leaders to make statements and decisions based on facts rather than opinions and emotions. Please protect the future students and community from experiencing this kind of trauma by adopting the policies I suggested. Thank you so much.
Angela, I think you are right on time. Is that right, Gina? Yeah, hold it up just a little higher. Next is Tara Nelson. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sandra?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, Tara Nelson would be our next speaker. Thank you. Go ahead, Tara. Welcome.
Greetings, my name is Tara Nelson and I'm a parent of 2 children in the school district. I want to talk about 2 things, one being meetings governing body open public. That's part of ORS 192.630 for little a capital B. Open public, the meetings shall be held at the administrative headquarters of the public building. When that effort isn't made, it showcases barriers to the public. An example, the American flag and Pledge of Allegiance. The U.S. flag is in every government building and every classroom because it belongs there. If you're going to school in the USA and you are a citizen, it is to remind you that you are part of this country. Many people have died under that flag, providing us with the rights that we have today. Previously, soldiers today. May peace be with their families. I ask that you consider modifying protocols and tools to include the Pledge of Allegiance regularly. It is a remedy for today's decisive times. This would be one step in constantly reaffirming our unity and community while demonstrating that while we may all differ in political details, we love the same country. Supporting the pledges place in a public decorum. We have so few opportunities to publicly demonstrate our unity as a nation. The second thing is about masks. It appears that most of Oregon school boards have decided that our kids should go to school every day wearing muzzles. I have listened to the arguments and have found that the arguments are lacking evidence, data, facts, and human decency. The truth is, COVID poses almost no risk at all to our kids. A total of 4.2 million children have tested positive for COVID, and only a total of 0.0006 of them have died. What about the flu? The CDC estimates that 480 kids died from the flu in 2018-19 season. That's more than half that have died in the year and a half of COVID. Did anyone suggest during those years to wear masks? Do you realize the psychological damage that is done to children by forcing them to cover their faces, teaching them that the air is toxic and that everyone around them is sick? Have you considered the health damage it causes children when they're forced to breathe wet, snotty, spit-soaked rags on their face every single day? What about the children learning to read when they can't even see their teacher enunciating words? When a child has a hard time breathing, it does cause anxiety and makes it hard for children to concentrate and learn. Oregon ranks 5th from the bottom of nationality in academics. That's disgraceful. That means Oregon's children have fallen below grade level, especially during this last year with online learning. Children have a lot of catching up to do. When a child has a hard time breathing, it does cause anxiety. Apologize. The ORS 339.288 flat out prohibits anything that puts pressure on a child's mouth and also prohibits any type of medical restraints on children's mouths and makes it hard for them to breathe. A mask should be a choice. Every parent should be able to make that choice for their child. The governor's mandate is absurd. As a district, you have that authority from her to make those decisions. Our parents, we are fed up. Let's go back to reading, writing, math, and true history. We need to get and maintain our kids in school 5 days a week, full time, without masks. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tara.
Was I at 3 minutes or did she find me?
Is there anybody else? Sorry. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
You are Melanie Taylor. You just have a different last name.
Yeah. My name's Melanie Taylor. I have children in the North Clackamas School District, and I'm here to speak about the current application of CSC within the district. I believe that it's important to team up with the parents and of the students. I'd like to share my experience over the last 2 years. My daughter, over my daughter's 7th and 8th grade year, there were some alarming moments, and I'd like to go over them. Rock Creek Middle School would give health for 1 semester. She had this class on the second half of the year. I'm unsure why, but the teacher chose to wait to the last 2 classes to go over the mechanics of sex and the ways to protect themselves against STDs. My daughter learned at 12 years old the difference between oral, vaginal, and anal sex. They taught them about how to use a condom and a dental dam. If you're unsure what a dental dam is, ask a 12-year-old, because that's what they were taught. They taught what I call the mechanics of having sex in all ways. I was appalled that they did not, that they did this right before the release of summer. Do you know what they didn't teach? No means no. Or ask permission before you touch somebody else. And when we called to inquire about this, we were told that they had to wait a full school year until the 8th grade to cover no means no and ask for permission. So now these kids have gone out for summer vacation to possibly experiment and not given all the tools. Just the act of having sex safely. There's also the abstinence is the safest to avoid pregnancy, to avoid STDs, but she wasn't taught that either. Or that sex is involving with emotions and what that means for responsibility, or the ability for parents to be involved and to say, hey, you know what, you went over the act of sex. can we sit down and have this discussion, or any of the subjects that they go over, whether it's, you know, the gender choice, the act of having sex itself. I did not understand why they waited until the following year to say no means no. And why wait to the last couple days of class to dump the information on the kids right before summer vacation? Is this something that was done to dump on the kids within a couple of days to avoid the ability, or have the parents' ability to opt out? I implore, request with the school board to work with the parents to have the links available, because when we requested the links from the school, the links didn't actually work. And we talked with the principal, and every time we would click the button, it wouldn't work. So if there's a way that maybe to incorporate the parents, their beliefs, because we would like to have a choice. We'd like to teach them our values as well as whatever the school or the state of Oregon is saying to teach the kids. And we'd like to work with the teachers. So I just would love to have a syllabus maybe given, and the ability to opt out of it or opt into it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Melanie.